Here we go. One of the most iconic and enduring franchises of all time, the James Bond series. Let's face it, everyone's familiar with these movies. Their significance to the film industry is undeniable. After all, they helped define the spy genre, containing everything from witty one-liners to cool gadgets to intriguing espionage to exotic locales to gorgeous women. Now, in anticipation of the newest addition to the series, I'll be taking a look back at a few notable entries in the long-running James Bond franchise. Unfortunately, I won't be able to look at all of them, so I'm going to try and tackle one movie per era. That's not to say that I won't eventually get to the rest, but at this point, I'm mainly trying to compare the different versions that have come over the years. Let's begin with what many consider to be one of the best, Goldfinger.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch.
Our tale begins with MI6 agent James Bond on holiday after his latest mission. Unfortunately, his enjoyment is cut short when he receives a new assignment from his superiors. His goal? Investigate Auric Goldfinger, a billionaire bullion dealer suspected of smuggling supplies of gold from country to country. As Bond searches for answers about the unassuming businessman, he discovers that Goldfinger has a much more sinister scheme that could threaten the economy of the entire world. Now, first and foremost, I'm just going to come out and say it. Sean Connery is the greatest James Bond.
Shocking.
And anyone wondering why need only look at this movie. He has just the right mixture of charm and danger. Not only is Connery consistently believable in portraying the character's quiet intensity, but he also lends a natural charisma and wittiness that make him the most complete version of Bond that we've seen. With 2 movies under his belt, he's clearly comfortable in the role by now, allowing for more subtle nuances that would be remembered for years to come. You look at him and you think, yeah, I want to be just like him. Part of the reason he's so cool is his resourcefulness and how that's incorporated into the story. It's exceedingly rewarding when you see him use his own intelligence and skill set to get the better of his enemies. That actually ties into why I really like this movie's use of the gadgets. Yeah, they're fun and iconic, but they're not overdone. You may or may not disagree, but I prefer that these tools be used as just that. Tools. Brought in only when necessary. If 007 starts to rely on them too much, then it runs the risk of undermining the character's abilities. This film manages to find a perfect balance between these devices and a more practical approach, utilizing both when needed to serve the story. My favorite scene is when Goldfinger threatens to slice Bond in half with a laser. You might expect him to use some hidden gadget to free himself, but instead, he bluffs his way out of it.
2 words you may have overheard, which cannot possibly have any significance to you or anyone in your organization. Can you afford to take that chance?
This exchange also gives way to quite possibly the greatest Bond villain line in the history of Bond villain lines.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Oh man, that is awesome. Speaking of which, Goldfinger himself is a pretty memorable bad guy. His arrogant attitude makes him endlessly entertaining, and Gert Frobe looks like he's having a lot of fun with the character's uniquely condescending menace. Additionally, Michael Collins provides plenty of personality in dubbing the voice. Hey, I try to give credit where credit is due. Now, on to the female lead. There are actually a few women who come into this story, but the only one who sticks around is, are you ready for this? Pussy Galore.
My name is Pussy Galore.
I must be dreaming.
How did they get away with that in 1964? Who knows? The funny thing is that she's actually one of the better Bond girls out there. At the risk of getting off topic though, shouldn't they be called Bond women? Anyway, Honor Blackman's sassy deliveries and unflinching personality really add to her appeal without undermining the character's humanity. The supporting actors are also very accomplished. Harold Sakata is fairly intimidating as the silent killer Oddjob. Sek Linder's friendly demeanor is appropriate for Felix Leiter. Bernard Lee brings his usual authoritative presence to M, and Desmond Llewellyn injects a classical humor into his role as Q. The writers know how to use each of these characters to best suit the story. The minor players accomplish what they need to and are developed enough without intruding on the main narrative. The plot itself is very well told. As Goldfinger's agenda is slowly revealed through his conversations with Bond, the scope widens and the stakes are raised, drawing you in more and more. What also helps is Guy Hamilton's skillful direction, which gives the whole piece a very suave atmosphere. It's especially potent when combined with John Barry's stylishly thematic musical score and the sensual song sung by Shirley Bassey. These work in conjunction with the impressive production values. The expansive sets and sprawling locations are striking and give the film a real sense of scale. There's also a lot of room for the fight scenes. What I love about these brawls is that they don't rely on a bunch of flashy choreography or booming orchestral pieces to leave an impact. They place more of an emphasis on getting the job done. The same goes for the car chases, which are fast-paced and exciting without going over the top. Actually, that's a good way to describe the whole movie. When all is said and done, Goldfinger is an exceptional entry in the James Bond franchise and delivers the classic 007 experience. The performances are rife with charisma, the direction is slick, the action is thrilling, and the film introduces many elements that would become iconic staples of the franchise, doing so without compromising the engrossing story. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and/or comment. Until next time.
Goldfinger. Pretty girl, beware of this high.